This video is sponsored by Manta Sleep. More on them later in the video. With over 300 chapters of exciting content and incredible games, BLUELOCK's manga is not short of hype moments. And with our main protagonist, Yoichi Isagi, the hype moments never stop. From his incredible development to generational goals, and more importantly, the most insane trash talk you will ever hear, Isagi has made it known that he is one of the most generational ore farmers of this generation. Even when the plays aren't about him, Isagi still finds a way to shove himself into the center of the stage, making even his enemies farm aura for him. But out of every moment that Isagi has continued to evolve, awaken, and trash talk, what are his best moments in the series? Well, today, that's what I'll be talking about. These are Isagi's greatest ore farming moments in all of BLUELOCK. Now, obviously, this video is just going through my personal picks of his greatest moments, and if you have your own that I didn't mention in this video, there's still really good moments, these are just my favorites. Before I get into the video though, I want to leave a spoiler warning for the latest chapter of the BLUELOCK manga, being chapter 314.1, and if you have not read it, I would suggest clicking off this video now if you wish to not be spoiled. Lastly, join my Discord server, it's called the Neoegoist League, and the link to it is down below. Starting off the game against Team Y, it was the first introduction to Isagi's awakening and development as a player. Sure, you have him eliminating Kira, being the best player in the Team Z room at that time, and I guess you also have when he awakened his spatial awareness and when he passed to Kinigami. But during the game against Team Y, I feel like that's where I believe a lot of us got hooked on the series, especially those of you who got into BLUELOCK through the anime like I did. And this led us to becoming the Goatsagi Glazers that we are today. After discerning that Nico was the heart of Team Y and they began their counterattack, all hope felt lost for Team Z. I mean, everyone was panicking, even Isagi. That wasn't until his eyes turned to spirals because he knew it was time to lock the f*** in. He pulled off a game-changing interception, stopping the pass and whipping around before staring directly at Nico, saying essentially how if Nico thinks of anything, Isagi will be there to stop it. He then begins to kickstart the play by saying, "You pass the ball," which means you fail as a striker. And while that's cool and all, bro, I know you're not talking about being a failure as a striker, considering you just passed the ball not 24 hours prior when a striker would have taken the shot. Hell, you're passing right now. Anyways, the ball goes to Bachira and Kunigami, who push their way up the field as Bachira whips a cross around towards Gagamaru. Psych, he lied, he was passing to the Egoist, because Yoichi Isagi appeared in the one spot nobody expected him to. What a surprise. Landing his direct shot, which used all of the animation budget for the rest of season 1. And after scoring the winning goal, which single-handedly led their team to surviving the first selection, Isagi says nothing and walks past everyone on Team Y, staring at their depressed expressions. He gets over to Nico, looks down at him to see Nico crying, and all Isagi thinks while seeing him is, I don't know why, but crushing this team's dreams? I love it. This dude saw a failed hentai protagonist crying and he goes, damn, I might be into this shit. And Ego just gives Isagi the ultimate assist on this, as we cut to see Ego's reaction to Isagi's expression, and we just see this dude menacingly smile through his hands. This is the same dude who at this point, as we know, is the only person who is capable of making Japan win the U20 World Cup and the World Cup in general, with even Henri saying that there is nobody else in the world capable of doing that. And earlier, this dude told what would have been the future figureheads of Japanese soccer that he's just trash and to fuck off. So the fact that we see Ego smiling like he's seeing his boy from across the bar as he picks up a 10 out of 10 girl, you gotta admit, this is definitely one of Isagi's best moments. Before I continue the video, let's talk about sleep. No matter who you are, sleep is important. And because sleep is so important, I'm here to talk to you guys about a way to make it better, thanks to this video's sponsor, Manta Sleep. Manta Sleep specializes in customizable sleep masks that feature unique removable foam eye cups. These cups can create a 100% blackout environment without applying any kind of pressure to the eyes, which is beneficial for side sleepers and those who are sensitive to light. These masks are also made from breathable materials, ensuring comfort throughout the night. Manta Sleep was even kind enough to send me their Manta Sleep sound mask, which not only comes with all the previous features, but also built-in Bluetooth speakers. By adjusting the blue tabs on this sleep mask, you can position the Bluetooth speakers right next to your ear for maximum comfort and audio clarity. And with the Velcro detachable face panel, you can adjust the volume of your music without ever taking off the sleep mask. And if you're worried about battery life, don't, because this Bluetooth sleeping mask has over 20 hours of battery life. They aren't even paying me to tell you this part, but ever since I got the mask, I've been getting full night's sleep that have made me feel more energized and rejuvenated than ever before. Seriously, with the material of these masks, you can hardly tell that it's on your face, but at the same time, you feel more relaxed and comfortable while you're sleeping. Don't just take my word for it though, here's a statement from another happy customer. With the brighter days ahead of us, sleeping masks like these ones are becoming even more essential. So if you head over to Manta Sleep's website using the link in the description and use the code ARROW10 at checkout like it appears on screen, you can save 10% off your entire order. That's not even including the 15% you save if you spend $99 and the 20% you save if you spend $150. Thank you again to Manta Sleep for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back into it. Jumping ahead to the second selection, we see Nagi, Isagi, and Burū on Team White playing against Team Red in Shigiri, Kunigami, and Ryo. After realizing that Burū just has an allergic reaction whenever he tries to perform on a team, Isagi decides that it's devouring time and sets his sights on Burū to make his next bitch. He decides to dribble after him to get the king rock hard for a pass before sitting his ass down in the cuck chair, sending a pass over to Nagi. Nagi does his little whoop thing to get Shigiri off of him, and Nagi notices how everyone is just staring at him like he farted during the screening of Oppenheimer or something. And speaking of farts, Bado's like, hey, do you smell something? Because we see Fart Sagi and his green aura start crop dusting him, using Burū as bait, breaking free from him to score his own goal. Isagi then drops some knowledge on Burū, telling him how the darkness he brought to the field is where he loves to feed, devouring it and turning it into light, scoring a goal that reignites hope for the team, all except for one person. Isagi turns to Burū, stares him dead in the eyes, and says, "Listen up, Burū. You just keep playing the same way you always have, and don't drag us down. I'm telling you not to get in our way. Donkey." The same insult that Burū has been throwing at every character in this series like it's his favorite vocal stem has been thrown back in his face and has got bro shivering. That one line was so powerful, it sparked one of the worst jokes in all of BLUELOCK series history. The idea that Isagi is better than Burū. Burū was hurt so much by this insult that he put on his own down with the king performance before locking back in and scoring the game winner. Isagi decided to break this dude down with his own insult to allow for him to build himself back up so they could win the game with him scoring the final goal. Isagi is the greatest manipulator of all time, and I do not care what you have to say. Except for Andre, of course. You know the video. Skipping forward to the end of the game when it's time to choose a player, the obvious and best pick was my absolute GOAT, Shigiri Hyoma. Nagi then confronts Ryo, telling him how he wishes he could pick him, but he's growing and getting stronger, so this is what happens. And they continue back and forth, yada yada yada, romance, something, they're gay, I don't know. But Nagi leaves, breaking up with Ryo for good, telling him that he is just a pain as he walks away from his toxic ex towards his brand new lover. Which Isagi probably inherited his support of aura farming from Ego, because he turns to Ryo, this heartbroken man, and says the one thing he did not need to hear. Hey Ryo, be the one who chooses, not the one who gets chosen. If you can't survive on your own, then you have no place in BLUELOCK. This dude basically just told him to stop piggybacking off of Nagi's skill and success and to get good on his own. He basically told his gold teammate to stop using his Grandmaster buddy to carry him through competitive and Marvel rivals. And I'm just speaking from experience. But all jokes aside, this is probably one of my favorite panels in the entire BLUELOCK manga. It's been a while to think about, but I think that this was actually one of the panels that actually got me into the BLUELOCK manga. Kunigami tries to save Ryo from despair by telling him to hold his head high, not knowing that this action is what doomed him to the wild card. I feel like this moment doesn't get enough appreciation for how cold it actually is, and I'm not talking in a cool way, but also just in a serious way. The second selection is made to condemn your fellow BLUELOCKers to death on a stage that's unlike the first selection. And Nagi decided to abandon his very first friend that he ever made, and Isagi chose to condemn one of his former teammates. The same dude who gave him half of a steak. Like, come on, they're like blood brothers after that. It's just a moment I find true appreciation for as to show how ruthless BLUELOCK can make some people, and I think it encompasses a lot of the ideals of the story in this one moment here. Going into the Japan U20 game, BLUELOCK is beating the Japan U20 team going into halftime, forcing them to sub Shido on to even the score. Shido previously being an untamable striker within BLUELOCK, it's interesting to see how Sai would utilize him. Going into the free kick, Sai and Shido pull off a play that was previously unimaginable by anyone at the BLUELOCK project. a reflex times reflex chemical reaction. And if that wasn't good enough, Isagi decides to help his opponents farm more ore by giving their chemical reaction a nickname, the Carnival of the Genius and the Devil. Like, I love bro, but the fact that this dude can create the hardest nicknames for his enemies just to make them sound even cooler is just so fucking peak. And then you go into Shido's celebration of him just basking in the awe of the world, and his goal is like Isagi giving Shido the greatest layup in all of history. And this motherfucker just took that and meteor jammed it straight into the net. But this moment just sticks out so much to me because it's the first moment we truly get to see what Shido is capable of when he works with someone who understands how he likes to play. But it also expands more on who Sai is as a character and what Sai is actually capable of. Shido was a character that not even Rin could effectively work alongside, being unable to form a single chemical reaction together. And it's funny because Rin was emulating Sai's style and attributes as a striker during his time in the series, excluding his entrance into his flow state. So the fact that Sai was able to bring out Shido's greatest talents will always be a hype moment for me. And for Shido, dude was just playing for the hell of it, doing whatever he wanted within the BLUELOCK project. But now he has the ability to have someone push his dreams and desires into feasible and realistic plays. I can kinda see why y'all glaze Shido so much. Going into the final play of the Japan U20 game, Rin beats Sai's cross Elastico Nutmeg, and through the power of plot armor, power of luck, Isagi manages to predict its landing spot and score the winning goal of that match. This goal changed the entire future of Japanese soccer, with Isagi whipping his arms out in celebration with a "look at me." Isagi is then asked for an interview on live TV where he's posed the question about what his next goal is for his future career. Reflecting on all of his accomplishments, his evolution from where he used to be to where he is now, his pee-wee ass in high school who passed to the Giga Chad hero of BLUELOCK he is today, officially earning the nickname with that play, he stares towards the camera and confidently says in himself and his own ego, "I'll win. I'll win and make Japan the best in the world." It was like bro was Endeavor in that one My Hero chapter where he just tells the world to shut up and watch him, challenging society as a whole. And it's such a great turning point for Isagi's character. He really has become someone capable of taking the role of the best striker in the world, being coined as the man of the match during the U20 game. If I'm being honest though, I feel like Rin deserved that title because he realistically did more for that game in my opinion, but that's just me. And this aura farming even extends to the current chapters, where this man is again pulled up to the center stage in front of a ton of reporters and just repeats the same words. "I'll make Japan the hottest place in the world." His ego, after everything, is not shaken, and if anything, has gotten stronger. Destroying Kaiser in the final NEO game really solidified his desire to become the best in the world. Speaking on the Neoegoist League, before we get into the rest of Isagi's best ore farming moments, I want to remind you guys that if you are enjoying this video so far, to leave me a like and subscribe down below to see more awesome BLUELOCK content just like this. It costs you guys absolutely nothing and it helps me out immensely. I'm trying a new comedic style with this video, so I hope you're enjoying it. And if you want to help me even more, if you were to become a member of the channel, you'd earn some awesome benefits like personal video requests and shoutouts in videos, but you would also get your name mentioned in the BLUELOCK New World movie as a contributor to the project, and this also applies to leaving super chats. So like, subscribe, and become a member today to show your support for me and my content. Going into the game against Manshine City, Yukimiya steals the ball from Isagi before going on a solo run. And I really don't see a lot of people giving Yukimiya enough credit for this play. Dude beats out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders, including Chigiri and Rail, managing to get off a gyro shot while being pressured by 2 more, and nearly scoring if not for Chris Prince coming in to save the day. Keep in mind here, Chris Prince is the second best striker in the world at this moment, so he kinda cooked. Sure, Ego tries to say that this moment is just like Nagi's goal, but come on. Yukimiya has shown that he's a good dribbler, and you're telling me that he managed a full break and that's impossible for him again? I don't believe that. Like, Nagi's goal I get, because 5 consecutive chops into the air followed by an opposite leg power strike that even the best goalkeeper in the series cannot stop. Yeah, that's nearly impossible to recreate. But what Yukimiya did, is that really that crazy to say he could do it again? Either way, after his failed goal attempt and Prince calling him pathetic, Isagi comes over to criticize Yukimiya for his play and give him a proposal. Yo bro, let's be real here. You're kinda ass, team up with me and give me an assist like a good boy, and then we can win this shit. And obviously Yukimiya did not like being called that, calling Isagi the worst name and worst insult known to man, surpassing any racist, sexist, ableist, or just discriminatory remark you can think of. You are a poopy head. Oh, My bad. He called him just like Kaiser. And as we know, being compared to Kaiser is his trigger word or some shit like that, because then he gets really pissed. Now, obviously, as you guys know, I do not support the slursugi joke in any capacity, and I think it's a horrible way to express racism and ableism through an outlet of a character who is not inherently racist or ableist. However, I think this may be the only time ever that you can realistically say slursugi does exist. Because Isagi looks at Yukimiya and calls him blind to reality and says that he can sink and die alone with his ideals. Which is fucking crazy to me, because Yukimiya is essentially causing his own blindness. That's like if I saw a child of divorce and I just mocked him by calling him the reason his mom and dad don't live together.
Haha, your mom doesn't live with your dad anymore.
It's not the way you do things, Isagi. You don't trash talk people like that. You can't just ask him for help and then get uber pissy when he says no. You basically be Cartman when he's asking for the iPad in that one episode of South Park. All in all though, the fact that Isagi managed to somehow sniff out that Yukimiya's blindness is an actual issue for himself and was like, nice, more ammo in the chamber for when this motherfucker pisses me off. Plus the death aura flowing around Isagi when he tells Yuki to die along with his ideals is just so peak. Going into the PXG game, this is where Isagi learns about the concepts of talented learners and geniuses and is able to awaken his true flow state. This dude then manages to bait Kaiser into his vision and play, allowing for him and Gagamata to do the heavy lifting to stop a goal from actually happening. Rereading all of the moments in the series, I'm just realizing now how Isagi's just unintentionally aura farming and we don't give him enough credit for it. Because sure, a lot of times it does seem like Isagi is being used to make everyone else shine, but in reality, Isagi is just making everyone else do the heavy lifting for him. After stopping Rin's play, this dude just stares at him and tells him that he sold his soul for the sake of victory for the purpose of defeating a genius like Rin. Do you know how much spite you have to have against someone to sell your fucking soul for the sake of victory just to beat them? This is more than just preying on someone's downfall. This is sacrificing your own life for the sake of someone else's. I know the memes of no ball in sight, but this motherfucker made a deal with their universe's devil for the purpose of beating some dude younger than him with longer fucking eyelashes. But after all this effort, Loki, the current best U20 player, decides to mock Japan as a whole simply because Rin could not score. To which, dude, did you not just hear the entire conversation that was just had? This dude stated that he sold his soul for the sake of victory, for the chance and opportunity to defeat Rin, and you're gonna tell me Japan has no shot of creating the best striker in the world? Selling your soul isn't enough to become the best? Like, in his mind, you walked up to Satan and tried to seduce him like Trump did in South Park, and this dude still said, nah dog, your soul can't even make that happen. 2 South Park jokes in one video. It's a record. But going back into the game, Isagi clocks this and decides to check Loki by calling him someone born with nothing but fast legs. Now, usually I'm on Isagi's side for a lot of these, but here, bro, you're just talking out of your ass. Loki single-handedly had the ability to blitz everyone on the team if he wanted to. The only reason he didn't was because he wanted to see Rin score the final goal. All he needed to do was take one more step and he would have scored and ended the game. After stealing the ball off of you, by the way. This dude was also matching up against the best striker in the world and won every single matchup they had against each other. Loki even had Kaiser calling him a god. The same dude you have been struggling to compete against without assistance, and when he's by himself is calling Loki an inhuman god. And you think this is the right time to call him worthless aside from his legs? Which, by the way, doesn't make any sense. Because that's like saying Bachata is nothing without his dribbling, or you're nothing without your eyes. No shit. It forms your entire play style. The whole purpose of BLUELOCK is to take your unique weapon and form a play style out of it that is unique to you. You're telling me that Loki's a fraud or something? Someone who's only born with fast legs? Because he's using his genetic advantages to push him to victory? I didn't hear none of that shit when Nagi was doing his stuff. All he was good at was trapping in the first selection. I didn't hear none of that from you. You hypocrite. Also, this aura farming, while insane for Isagi, has a lot of potential to backfire. BLUELOCK is facing off against France in the group stage of the World Cup, having to challenge both Loki and Charles together. And let's be real here, BLUELOCK is likely getting smoked by France in this first matchup. I'm calling it. It's just going to be like what Loki did to Isagi in their first interaction. You decide to talk all this shit But when Loki 7-0s you in the group stage of the World Cup, easy, you're gonna be the first one targeted for just trash talk, dude. You're gonna get fucking smoked. It's just a warning, bro. Hell, even Noah warned him to, coming over to tell Isagi to watch himself, as he should, because their entire conversation is on live TV. But Isagi decides, nah, fuck that, I'm doubling down. He tells Noah that he's pathetic and that he will not listen to him anymore, and that Noah is the next person he is going to make his victim. Dude, you gotta have some balls to tell the best striker in the world that you are going to make him the next in your harem. He tells Noah not to falter until they meet again, since Isagi wants to be the one to crush Noah in the World Cup. That's like your average high school varsity player going up to Ronaldo and saying, yo bro, I'm gonna be the one to kick your ass. Actually, I just kind of realized that's almost exactly what just happened. After all this though, Isagi decides to ally himself with Kaiser to defeat Rain and win the Neoegoist League. He definitely took some lessons with his previous interactions with Yukimi because he actually convinced Kaiser to work alongside him. But Isagi didn't do this without a purpose. No, he used Kaiser for him to score the final goal for himself. During the final play with the ball falling towards Ness, as Kaiser stays still with a mark from Shido, Isagi begins to run, using Kaiser and Shido as a wall to break free from Rain. As Ness makes the pass, it looks like Kaiser appears to receive it. However, it's eventually revealed to be Isagi, using his true flow state to surpass anyone else on the pitch. And if that wasn't enough, BLUELOCK's current #1 decides to add some exposition to it. A brand new perfect Yoichi Isagi is being born, controlling hope and despair, a neo-egoist. And if that wasn't enough, as the ball flies towards the net, Rain decides to give Isagi his next nickname of Demon King. Do you realize how much aura you receive from the current #1 of BLUELOCK and your rival personally calling you the Demon King? And if that wasn't enough, Isagi's sliding celebration literally radiates this almost venomized and powerful aura as he screams in victory after defeating Rain, Kaiser, and winning the Neoegoist League. I know a lot of people that were hyped when this chapter dropped, and I was definitely one of them. But out of nearly any moment in this series that you want to mention Isagi aura farming, the mention of Isagi and Kaiser's interactions with each other is never not going to be stated. That is the one consistent throughout the Neoegoist League. Whenever Isagi is aura farming, Kaiser is somehow involved. Every time Isagi and Kaiser have interactions with each other, it's just a straight up aura farm city for Isagi. Even during their first interaction, Kaiser grabs Isagi by the collar and says, I want you to become an obstacle in my life. To which Kaiser is then stared down by Isagi as he says that he's going to destroy everything that he holds dear. This is a dude of the same caliber as Sai Itoshi, the dude who is keeping your strongest player at bay with a little difficulty during your previous match. It legit took him entering his true flow state in order to beat him, and you have the balls to call him out? Respect. But every interaction between Isagi and Kaiser after he awakened Metavision in the Manshine City game is just straight aura farming. I mean, even after he realized what it was, he legit thanked Kaiser for giving him the trick to defeating him. Imagine you're in Kaiser's place here, and you have this rivalry with one character, and you're just playing the game normally, and you're showing what you're capable of, and this guy looks at you and says, thank you so much for telling me how to defeat you. Bro, my timbers would be shivered. I would be thinking about everything I thought of and did in that moment that would make Isagi think he could beat me. And this leads into every other interaction between Kaiser and Isagi. Isagi saying how he's going to end Kaiser, to Noah even calling Kaiser a clown. The best striker in the world just called you a fraud to your face. Then in the Ubers game where Isagi managed to score more goals than Kaiser did thanks to Hiyori, or even in the PXG game after using him for his own victory where he calls him his ultimate clown. Hell, during Kaiser's own awakening, he legit stole his aura during the Magnus goal by overflowing with his Thorn manifestation. I think when you want to talk about any aura farming moment from Isagi in the Neoegoist League, not a single moment pops up that isn't in some way correlated to his relationship with Kaiser. And now it's finally time for the U20 World Cup, the arc that has been anticipated for so long after it's being stuck in the NEL for almost 4 years. The announcer begins to call out the starting lineup for Japan as the crowd roars in excitement as each player walks out onto the pitch. And then we get to Rin. Rin walks out onto the pitch and the announcer has the gall to call him the best striker in Blue Lock, acting as if Isagi isn't right there. But after all that buildup, he calls upon the hero of Blue Lock, Japan's Demon King and the shining hope of the country, as Yoichi Isagi walks out onto the pitch, copying Noa's entrance in the Neoegoist League. I just mentioned the aura farming that this dude did with Noa, telling him that he's going to bring a theory to surpass him and be better than him. So just to copy his emote while walking out onto the World Cup stage, peak. All jokes aside, it's so cool to see Isagi and even Bachira copying the Master Striker's introductions as to show how much these characters inspired them to be better. He's really emulating his desires to become the best in the world by copying the emotionless entrances of the current best in the world. And while I would usually like something more hype for an entrance like what Kagamaru did for instance, Isagi's walkout just irradiates so much aura that I got no complaints. And those were just my favorite Isagi aura farming moments in the entire series. No matter what point you look at it, Isagi continues to create generational amounts of aura for anyone he surrounds himself with. Now, this video simply covered my favorite moments for Isagi in relation to his aura farming, and there are a lot of good other moments, but these are just my favorite. If your favorite one was not mentioned in this video, that doesn't make it not good. These ones were just my personal favorite. But aside from that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and will continue to enjoy it in the future. I just want to say thank you so much to all the members of my channel who help support me and my content. And if you wish to earn some awesome benefits like they do and even get your name mentioned in the Blue Lock New World movie, become a member yourself and help support me moving forward. And just a final reminder to join my Discord server if you're ever interested in getting any more involved with our amazing community. As for the question of the video though, what is your favorite Isagi aura farming moment? Leave me your thoughts down below in the comment section. And like always, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe to see more awesome Blue Lock content just like this.